IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy, actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashdin, Doctor, your habit coach. And today's fun fact of the day has to do with blood tests. Did you know that there are over 30 different ways in which we can classify human blood? The simplest A-B method of blood classification that we are all used to is just one of the many ways we can classify our blood. Do you know your blood type? I am O positive. I remember it being drilled into me and into my head by my parents, as they always said that it was the most important thing to remember, almost as important as my phone number. And back then, we had those home phones with that big circular dial on it. The only way to figure out what blood type you are is to do a blood test. As a kid, this was such a fascinating procedure. The pain aside, it was the first time I could see my blood flowing out into a syringe. For many, these blood tests are a time of dread, fear of the needle piercing the skin, the vampire-like technician setting up the needle and the tubes. Even the bit where he rubs alcohol using a cotton swab on your vein feels painful. For others, the discomfort happens much later. Waiting for that test result to come in feels like pure torture. The anticipation of all the things that could be wrong. There is so much to be stressed about. Have you ever noticed what happens when you get your test results back? You quickly scan and look for only the tests that were too high or too low. We look for the bad news first. Our eyes scan the piece of paper, looking out for any markings of the bad. And this is so indicative about how we live our lives as well. Our brains have been designed to look for the bad, designed to seek out what is wrong before we seek out what is right. And hence, we never get to appreciate all the good that is there. Imagine if we could consciously learn to change our perspective on the world by creating the habit of first looking for the good, celebrating the good before reacting to the bad. Our lives would be filled with a whole lot more positivity. Similarly, when someone in my team makes a mistake or a friend of mine does something hurtful, I pause and make a list of all the good qualities and traits in the person. I remember past events that were better. Only then do I write down or allow myself to think about the wrong or the mistakes that have been made. This small step of pausing before reacting to the negative dramatically changes the way you approach the situation. A reaction would normally have been made in anger or sadness, and this could destroy the relationship, bringing you even more hurt. This list of good has the ability to change your mindset and hence the ability to repair or even strengthen the relationship. As your habit coach, I want you to know that you are in charge. You have the ability to slowly train your mind to look at the positive before you react to the negative. This simple habit of seeking the positive first starts by making a list of all the good before you allow yourself to observe the bad or the wrong. This does not mean that you do not think of the bad or the wrong. This is not escapism. This is just looking for all that is right, then focusing on the wrong. Look at your hemoglobin count being perfect, your blood sugar being perfect, your CRP being perfect, before you allow yourself to notice that the cholesterol is a little high.
So start these habits and share with us your progress using the hashtag #TheHabitCoach. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com. or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome 180.
I hope you enjoyed that show. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. It really has been a great week this week. We've had two of our first international cricketers show up, people who have played for their respective sides. We had W.V. Raman come on Edges and Sledges, the cricket podcast. If you haven't heard that, you should be listening to that if you enjoy cricket. It's really one of the best out there. And you should also definitely check out Monty Panithar, who showed up on Cyrus Says. That was another really interesting conversation that occurred. If you haven't been listening to a few of our shorter shows, please do that as well. Ashish Vidyarthi has been doing a great job for us. We got 30 episodes now on Begin the Journey. I think you really enjoyed that show. If you haven't listened to it, it helps you with understanding what's going on in this tough time and how do you deal with it from a mental health perspective. We've also had some really fun stuff come up on the Smile India show. Shifa's been doing a lot of really good stories over there. Things would just make you happy, so definitely do check that out. And on the more serious side, make sure that you're checking out our regular shows like the Pragati podcast, All Things Policy. They're definitely going to keep you up to date on what's going on in this COVID world. And thanks for listening, and we hope to catch you again next week.
Namaskar, dear Bandhu. My name is Ashish Vidyarthi. These are truly challenging times, and in these times, we need hope. Do take time to listen to my podcast, Begin the Journey. Available on IVM Podcasts, website, app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, there is hope because there's one life and we are alive.